Welcome back, neighbors. We have a treat today. We have your favorite and mine, Caitlin Armstrong. And now I know a lot of you might be new to the neighbor space, and I just want to say buckle up because Caitlin and I had no filter today, and we just talked real honestly about some stuff we're both walking through. And we had some laughs along the way. So I think you're really going to enjoy it. And I hope you feel encouraged. I hope if you ever have dark thoughts or, thoughts that kind of freak you out a little, you have someone you can tell them to, or you remember this conversation and you remember that as humans, there is an enemy who is trying to get between our ears, infusing doubt and fear and all the things. And so we declare victory over that. And I hope that today this conversation reminds you of that victory. And I hope that you love the Neighbors podcast and that you would support us by going and putting a 5-star review or liking us or subscribing to us on YouTube. It just helps the podcast be more searchable for people so that more people can be encouraged and changed by the conversations that we have here. But as always, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And I hope today encourages you as much as it encourages me, or if nothing else, you get a good laugh in at the ridiculousness that Caitlin Armstrong is. Here's my conversation with Caitlin.
Heidi ho.
Here we are.
We're back.
We're back. And we just said before we started recording, or I don't know, who knows, maybe we were recording. We have no filter today.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm a little... not afraid, but there's a little worry in me because I'm not connecting my thoughts as much, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit less of a filter.
Yeah.
And I think, this morning, we already talked. Mm-hmm. So we're in a really raw place, right?
Before we get to anything serious, do you notice something different about me?
Wait. Now, I hate when you do this. Ugh, I feel horrible. Well, you're wearing is it something with your hair?
Yeah.
Is it lighter?
No.
You didn't cut it. Oh, a side part. No.
I'm rocking the side part.
Well, it's not a real side part. It's like a midi. It's a mid side. It's not a butt cut and it's not a full side.
Okay, I hate that you call a middle part a butt cut.
You've never heard that?
No, I mean, I've heard it, but it's not like an everyday term everyone's using.
No, it actually looks really great.
But it's kind of, I feel like giving me some more volume on this side, but I'm not sold on it, especially because I have all these baby postpartum hairs that are just floop.
Yeah, but I think it looks great.
Well,
but it's not a full, it's still not a full side part.
More to the side than what I usually do. But I'm kind of feeling like the side part might be coming back.
I've only rocked the side part, except I think since in elementary school I had a butt cut and I also had bangs.
You were doing the center part before it was
100%. Cool. And then
I need to look at what time we started so that we don't go 2 hours.
I haven't worn a center part. I have no idea. I don't even think my hair would do it.
Well, it would. I mean, it would.
No, I don't think physically.
It's not permanently growing in a side part. Anyway, so I'll watch this back and I'll either love it and keep doing it or I'll be embarrassed of this episode forever. Okay, so yeah, we're feeling a little raw. I've had a morning, which you said you had a night. So, I wake up this morning. Well, I didn't wake up. My child woke me up about 4:30, and she wouldn't go back to sleep. It was a whole thing, which is fine. I honestly wasn't even really mad at her. I was just kind of tired, and I had a hard conversation yesterday, and so all I wanted this morning, I just really wanted some time with the Lord, Yeah. And I didn't get it, and I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was just giving Wes kind of the silent treatment, not intentionally towards him, but he was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm just annoyed at the morning." I undercooked his eggs, which if you listen to the last episode,
what is
Wes,
that?
so much so he cooked them further. He wiped them off his plate. And
put them back in the skillet?
Yeah, he put them back in the skillet. To further cook them.
Because you always undercook them, but this was non-edible.
Lately, I've
you cracked it. You cracked the yolk on his plate. You cracked the egg.
I didn't think so, but evidently he did. He was wiping it off with a paper towel, and that's what started bringing me to tears. And I said I need a moment, and I went into our bathroom and I just had a good cry. And Sunny, our 3-year-old, came in, and she said "I'll give you a hug, Mommy." She's an empath, and she was comforting me. So then Wes comes in, and I said, I am annoyed at the morning. I am annoyed. He got a little frustrated with our 1-year-old. I said, I'm annoyed that you got frustrated, even though I understand we get frustrated sometimes. And I'm annoyed I didn't get to have time with the Lord to flesh out like this thing I need to pray about. So then Wes, being who he is, was like, I'll take the kids, go outside for 15 minutes and just have your prayer time. So I go outside, I get my coffee, I get my notebook, and I'm about to let the Lord have it. Like, I'm so feisty. I'm feeling so entitled to my own opinion right now. And I write down, Heavenly Father, that's how I start the prayer, that I'm about to like be like, I'm frustrated, Lord. And then I just started like writing names of God. I just started writing things, which this is going to make me sound so spiritual. I don't usually do this. Normally, I feel like I just take the filter off and let the Lord have it about what I'm experiencing. But I just started writing down names of God. And I actually started in my head singing that song, Prince of Peace. Did you ever know that? You're the Lord of Lords.
Where they did. Wasn't that the one where the boys and the girls split it?
Yeah.
We did. It was my favorite in youth group.
Mighty God, Lord,
and then the girls would pick it up.
Yeah. And it was like you were singing at the same time. I was just going through that song and I was writing down all those names. So I had like all these names of God on the left side about, just how big of a God he is. Like Ancient of Days and King of Kings and all these things, Prince of Peace. And then over on the right side, I put an I am. And I started writing like what I was feeling, which was entitled and selfish and prideful and sensitive and anxious and all these things. And I just started like crossing them out because it's like, this is who God is, and he doesn't change based on how I feel. And I felt so much better. I really did, which obviously, but.
Because what you did was you took your eyes off yourself.
Exactly. And I came in and I gave Wes a hug and I said, I'm sorry that I'm selfish, because at the end of the day, my expectations weren't met and my preferences weren't met. So then what was I left with? Myself.
Right.
And it was just, I don't know, it was just a really cleansing moment of, I think, unfiltered prayers are so good, and honestly telling God how you feel is good. But honestly, sometimes you just need to remind yourself who God is.
Absolutely.
Instead of just like airing your feelings,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I had quite a morning.
No, that's
that
fantastic.
happened this morning.
I know.
So where are you at?
Well, first of all, we need to start with my monochromatic moment.
I just needed everyone to know why I'm feeling unfiltered.
Well, we have a lot of time for me, because you've already heard my case over the past couple weeks, so we're gonna unpack that a little bit.
That's on the wheel. Okay,
that's on the wheel.
Yeah, we need to talk about what we're wearing, because also in the midst of my morning, I was like, you know what? I'm wearing leggings today. Like, I don't care. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing leggings. I'll put a jean jacket and a boot on because I'm not
some
that
scrunchy
peasantry. And some scrunchy socks.
You look
fabulous.
And
I love a monochromatic moment, which you also went for a mono moment.
Right.
However, very different. You walked in, you're going to the Met Gala.
I went glam because
glam.
I'm not feeling glam inside, and so
we channeled. Neither of us are feeling glam, and I decided to mirror that in my appearance, and you did not.
No, you look amazing with your gold jewelry and your scrunchy sock. It's all about the minimalistic look for you.
Casual.
It's elevated casual. I went. If you're not watching, you're just listening. It's a full purple sequin skirt.
A full purple. You are a purple sparkle right now.
Right. I am disco ball purple on top. I'm disco sequins on the bottom. I went down to a disco sock or a purple sock and a new purple Mary Jane iridescent platform Mary Jane. Just to let you know.
If you didn't think that existed, neither did anybody else on earth.
I found these for $10.
They found you.
They found me. I wasn't looking for Mary Jane.
Looking, but the Mary Jane
$10, and you want to know why? They were $10
because they're an iridescent purple platform Mary Jane. And they didn't fly off the shelf. It's shocking.
Listen, Marshalls had one pair left in my size.
Right. The only pair that was ever manufactured on the globe.
But
you are the rare owner.
I told you right off the bat, I sent you a picture and I said, I know you're going to hate these. And then you just, before we started talking, you just said, they're kind of growing on me. They're not as horrible.
I do love them for you because I I truly don't like a Mary Jane at all. I don't like anything about it. It's just not my vibe.
Yeah.
But the edgy rubber, like, what do you call that? Like the rugged platform is really fun. Ew, the sound they're making rubbing together is so horrible.
I've never squeaked them together like that. It's like a tire. You know, it looks like something from a tire, like the playground, the big tires, the tread.
It's got a thick
that's
tread.
good.
Yes, but. And then it doesn't even stop there. You have purple lipstick on, purple eyeshadow, and a purple fur claw clip in.
And because
you're the most ridiculous human.
No, but I told you that I really want to go more monochromatic.
I do. I am like living for the monochromatic moment right now.
You know, and purple is my signature color. And we've gotten into a whole thing about this. It was recently Allie wrote a beautiful workbook.
Yeah, I need to post those to start selling them.
And of course, her and Wes teamed up, and it's pretty unfair how talented they are. And so I told her, I was like, I am so happy and like so thrilled, and I'm also so angry because I couldn't create this. They popped this out in probably 24 hours, and this thing is so beautiful, so cool looking, but I was upset because purple was the prominent color.
You said you stole my color, which I didn't know that you had ownership, a monopoly over the color purple.
And this is
the color purple, like the book. You wrote that? Did you write the color purple?
This is actually very kind because then you said that you did go back and say, Wes, you know, maybe we could change the color. Wes put a kibosh on that.
My fatal flaws is I am so defensive. I can be so defensive. So when you attacked me, I was so defensive.
I did not attack you.
And I was just, this isn't about you right now. This is about me. And I said, how dare, like, you don't get to have a say over the color purple. This is a universal, accessible color.
And then you went home.
And then I went home and secretly changed it. Or tried to. But then Wes said, no, I intentionally picked purple.
Gosh.
But then I wanted you to know. But so the messages received by your outfit that you wore today, I get it. That purple is your color. And when you write a book one day, don't worry, you can still use. I will let you
use purple.
Use purple as your cover color.
Okay.
Okay, should we get into it?
So, yeah,
Do you have
let's
anything
spin
else
the
to cover
wheel.
before we?
No, because we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we've had a lot. All right, Wheel of Topics. Listen, we have a lot of new neighbors with us today because
really,
well, in light of our girl Lisa Turkers and Chaz, we gained some new friends, and so people may have never met you, which they've got quite the introduction now.
Well, I'm here. You can't really get rid of me now.
Which, yeah, I mean, if you don't know Caitlin, you'll meet her soon enough. Clearly, she's a big part of Neighbors. But we do this thing when Caitlin's on now. We've done it twice now. This is our third time. So I guess it's just like what we do now.
Yeah.
Called the Wheel of Topics because we have nothing more creative to call it, and we just write random things, funny and serious, on this wheel, and then we take turns spinning it and we talk about it.
Let's do it. When
okay,
we hit.
Oh, I added this one because we had one blank space and you don't even know about it.
Oh, what is it?
Favorite trend. What's like a current trend? Because we do
have something on there about trends.
We have trends we don't like. We'll cover later. But
can you start us off?
Okay. Let me start us off. My favorite trend is, well, I don't even know if this counts because I've been doing this trend for a long time, but I love the oversized t-shirt trend.
Yeah. That's been around a minute.
Well, I quite honestly don't like any new trends, so I have to pick one.
I mean, a trend, it's not just fashion.
Oh, I have one.
But
okay, you go.
Well,
okay,
no, go first. Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna shock you, but
what?
I am loving bright, bold colors, which I don't always rock.
You don't wear them.
I do like a
necessarily.
pop of bright color, or everyone will say, especially how I dress our kids. For the first 2 years of Sunny's life, I dressed her nothing but like beiges. But I've been getting into really fun, bold patterns and colors for her, and I think colors are fun right now.
But you're not wearing them yourself.
Not as much, although I did buy a couple dresses that were bright flowers.
Okay, that's great. I think this is like, it's come and go, but I'm super into multi earrings, like piercings. I've gotten.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've pierced my old piercings again. Like I thought there's a cartilage piercing 15 years, at least 15 years. I didn't wear something.
This is a really good one.
And I'm like, it's definitely close up. Just fiddling around one night, boom. Just pierced my ear again.
Just all fast and loose with a needle by your ear.
Okay, it wasn't a needle. It was like just an earring. And I am just all about it, especially gold jewelry, which I have never been into gold.
You've been a silver girl.
I've been silver. I've been white gold. And
white gold?
Well, that's like what my wedding ring is.
Oh, silver.
It's white gold, but it's gold. It's white gold.
It looks like silver.
Gosh. So we are going to get a ear piercing soon.
I forgot to tell Wes that I booked that piercing. Okay. But he has known for about a year I've wanted another piercing.
Did you decide which one?
I have one second hole.
Yeah, me too.
That I've recently put a hoop in. This like huggy hoop I really like. So I want to get the second and third on the other ear. So it's still classy.
Oh, that's so fun. That's what I currently have.
Look, I'm looking at Wes. Like,
I currently have.
But he'll never be seen on the podcast, so he can't say anything about it right now.
I have my ears traditionally pierced. You know, like at Claire's, right?
Yeah, piercing pagoda was mine.
Everyone got pierced at Claire's or piercing pagoda.
Claire's was like a little more sketchy then.
Okay. I'm a little bit older than you, so it's fine. And I do not recommend that at all. I'm not here to recommend, but at that time, everyone's getting their ears pierced at Claire's. Yeah. Double guns, boom, boom. And
you know the double gun is
horrible.
I know. They banned it pretty much.
That's why I'm telling people, like, that's not good.
Are guns fine? Or it needs to be just a needle?
Well, the best is just the needle. Wow. The best is just the needle.
Why though?
Because the double gun, it's trauma.
What about just one single gun?
Or it doesn't. I mean, any gun.
It's just too traumatic.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking piercing gun.
Piercing gun. Yes. To be very clear, a piercing gun because it's too traumatic and it's
to the ear.
Yeah, and it takes longer to heal and all these things. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So I did that. Then I got. I mean, I've had quite a few. I had the industrial bar for a while.
That was
I think it was not. I think it was the conch. Have you ever looked at the names of these? They're hilarious.
Wait, it wasn't the conch like the
inner ridge? No, the conch is the big thick middle part of your ear.
Hurt so bad.
And I had it and it would not heal, so I was done with that. Oh. I've had my nose pierced for a long time.
Have you had tragus? I always wanted my
I don't
tragus.
like the tragus. I'm not a tragus girl. And so then I have the cartilage. So what I think, and then I have my second hole. So I eventually want to get
one second hole or two?
Yeah, one. Because I do not like, I like it asymmetrical.
Me too.
So eventually I want to get a third hole, a second hole, but then this time we're going piercing. I think I'm going to get a second cartilage.
Oh, cute. So, okay, that's fun. All right.
Okay, my turn.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Woo.
No, woo.
What do we got?
Oh, our cooking class.
Cooking class. Okay.
Okay, this is great. So for my birthday, I wanted to do a cooking class, and I invited Caitlin and Ron. Ron is another person that's been on the Neighbors podcast to come to the cooking class.
And we have both. You had done cooking classes prior.
So
I had done, but not at this place.
Not at this place. And we won't say the name because we're not.
Yeah.
Review.
We don't. Yeah.
Hey, can we just talk about like what a strange cooking class it was? Because normally it's just this fun, lighthearted, like yes, you're cooking, but it's really just about the experience of eating the meal. I'm not trying to actually learn culinary skills.
Right.
I felt like we were in a culinary class.
Well, we started late, which was already because it was already
at 7. Started at 7:30. Already so late.
We started late. We came in there, and the chef was very disheveled. And he repeatedly told us that the class before us ran long. They were doing the same thing, I believe, that we were, which was a pork. It was pork. A pork Wellington. And he repeatedly said, the class before you went long, and this class will go long. He made it very clear.
You know now it's going long, which we had babysitters. So it was already going till 9, so we're thinking, okay, 9:30.
I usually eat dinner at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. So we're like, okay.
And I came hungry.
We were ready to go. And then he told us repeatedly? I'm adding a letter in there. That this was a very intensive class.
Intensive.
we were
He said that
lined
8
up.
times.
We had said it 8 times. We were lined up like sous chefs ready at the chopping block
Soldiers.
that we were about to get kicked out of culinary school.
Literally.
And so the evening proceeded, and
everything just took so long. And usually other cooking classes, you get a nice snack.
there's no snack,
To begin
no
with, there's
charcuterie, no
snack.
app.
So the first thing we made was the dessert, which was a Dutch baby, which is basically just like dough, warm dough
Right.
with apples. And by the time that came out, we were so hungry. We're nibbling on the sides of our Dutch baby.
We're eating the
because
Dutch
we're
baby.
starving. We're
love the
literally
name so
starving.
much.
I know, Dutch baby.
Then the pork Wellington took so long, and then we
So
ended up. Ours wasn't cooked thoroughly because
And
it was
the
a
meat-
huge
the meat
chunk
was
of meat.
really weirding you out.
The meat was weirding me out, so I decided to not eat the meat.
You ate puff pastry.
So at 10 p.m., we ended the class, and I had some Dutch baby, which is basically apple pie, and a
Loosely. Stripped down apple pie.
Stripped down, not a la mode, nothing. And then a few bites of puff pastry. And
Yes.
and I scraped a little bit of the mushroom
That's right.
chutney, if you will, on it.
I love a chutney.
And it just was not the best. We had, of course, a ball because we were together and we were cracking up. But
Yeah.
I kind of put a bad taste in my mouth with cooking classes because it's very
I know.
expensive.
It's very expensive.
Oh, we didn't even mention there were no tables.
Right. Usually you make the meal and you go sit together at a table and eat your meal that you just spent hours crafting. No, we stood at our work table.
My back was up against
I ate next to the industrial sink. Yeah. Yes. Bent over. I'm bent over.
And we're just trying
Hunched
to
over,
scarf,
scarfing food because we have to be home in 15
texting our
minutes.
babysitters like, we're so sorry.
That was such a bummer. Okay. She's over it. She's like,
What is it?
oh, the last song or movie that you cried at.
Oh, yes.
This is good.
Okay. Do you have one?
Yeah. Are you kidding? It was like 2 nights ago.
Okay, which? Go.
Well, my
Movie or song?
Well, it was a show.
Show? Okay.
The Voice.
Oh my gosh, you're one of those?
No, I'm honestly not, and I don't even watch The Voice. Wes was playing pickleball. He walks in, he's like, "Are you watching The Voice?" Even the next day, he said, "Remember when I came home and you're watching The Voice?"
And
just
you were
absolutely
crying?
roasting me. The first guy that went, he was so sweet. And he was just this country boy from Oklahoma. And he put off his dreams while they had 4 kids in their 20s, but all their kids are a little bit older now. And so it's his time to pursue his dreams. And his wife was sobbing watching him do it because she was so proud. And he got
Was
4.
he actually good?
He was
had 4
incredible.
turns?
And he sang one of my favorite songs.
What?
What's that song called? Orange. In the Orange. Burnt Orange. What's it called?
By who? Don't ask
No, the
Wes.
country
He doesn't
song.
want to be part of this.
Something in the Orange. I don't know. My favorite song, clearly. And it was so moving. All 4 chairs turned around for him. He got a standing ovation. And I cried. I mean, I wasn't like weeping.
No, well,
but
Ron
it got me.
weeps. For America's Got Talent.
Okay,
Ron
America's Got Talent.
weeps.
Game over.
Okay, I used to weep at Biggest Loser. I'm telling you, every episode, there was not one episode that I didn't weep, sob, okay? But my most recent...
Is that show even still on?
I don't believe so.
I feel like it
I don't
definitely got
believe so.
canceled.
Remember that awful show, The Swan? I never watched that. It was the one...
The ugly duckling to a swan.
Yes, and
Yeah,
they did all the plastic surgery. It's...
Oh, yeah, that's
Remember?
literally horrible.
No, it's horrific.
Remember What Not to Wear?
Oh,
I like that show.
lived on What Not to Wear.
Lived.
But my most recent movie that I cried, I've seen this movie. I love a good cheesy rom-com. I do. I've seen this movie 10 times. And I cried so much, like a couple weeks ago. Dear John.
Oh, no, that movie's, I mean, anything by Nicholas Sparks is gut-wrenching.
It's just like it's a lost love.
No,
they
it's
break
horrible.
up. There's this,
Wasn't Ron Down to Town when you watched that? Or that was
No,
that was
he
this week.
he was asleep, and I was just on the couch crying.
He was sobbing. No, I
I
will not watch a movie like Dear John.
But I love a sad movie and a sad song.
Oh, you do?
More so a sad song.
I like sad songs. I do not like
I have
sad
to be
movies.
but it doesn't end sad. Like it's not like a sad where
and
someone.
there is something cleansing about it.
Yeah,
but I just
it's a specific type of sad. But do you know what song that is getting me? Okay, well, of course, worship song, like crying, that's kind of a different, but my favorite worship song that just gets down into my soul is Highlands, Song of the Ascent.
So good.
Like, just crush me now. A non-worship song, I'm back in my Lady Gaga era.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
kind
you
of...
are. A Star is Born.
Yeah. So the song, I'll Always Remember Us This Way, from that movie. Do you know that song?
I don't.
Go listen to it.
Sing it.
I've just this morning,
it,
I've heard
Mary.
it 5 times.
Sing it.
No one wants to hear that.
Okay, well,
The line that gets me, you're buried in my soul like California gold. That gets me.
that's what gets you?
That gets me. The way she
You have
says
no
it.
affinity to California gold.
No, none. But I do like gold. But but the way she sings it, it's just about a lost love.
What's it called?
I'll always remember us this way.
Okay. Wait, speaking of Highlands, which he didn't write Highlands, but did you see Joel Houston's back?
Yeah, you
He's
said
the lead
that.
singer. He's who founded United.
So are
And
they-
he teased out. He just released music today, actually,
He did? Okay.
a couple days ago. And then he teased out that like United might not be done forever.
So
he
are
said
they?
people
Does
keep
that mean
wanting
they're
him.
working on an album,
I don't
or we don't know?
Or maybe just they're not closed off to it. I mean, it means they don't all hate each other, which I think is positive.
That's a win.
Because I have been wondering, with everything with Hillsong, it's been quite
Sure.
treacherous. And United was such a powerful worship group. And I just love Joel Houston and Taya Smith, now Taya River. She just released new music. That's
it's
incredible.
good, yeah.
But the fact that he said United might not be done forever has me so stoked.
I also feel like they wouldn't say that
if they didn't mean it.
So
'cause
I'm
they know
sure they're
people-
working on
I know,
something.
that just gets me so stoked. Okay, it's your turn.
My turn.
We need something serious.
I know.
We're having way too much fun. Oh.
What does that say? I can never read it.
Wait, let's just go to
Let's just pick a serious one.
Okay,
We're
Revelation.
gonna do a hard turn into
hard
Revelation.
turn into the end times. Okay, we both have been doing a study on Revelation by Jen Wilkin, which if you're looking for
It's incredible.
something that mirrors SAT prep,
No.
but with a spiritual intensity that'll change your life, the Revelation study by Jen Wilkin is great.
I mean, I always rave about her, anything she writes. But this particular one, I believe, at least it's my favorite Bible study that she's done.
Yeah.
It's very intense. And when you think of, I'm going to do a nice pun here, the nature of the beast, Revelation is very, very usually not interacted with because there's so many faux pas about it. People are afraid to read it. They don't know how to interpret it. There's been so many things throughout the Big C church that have actually harmed people. Jen Wilkin talks about how she, as a child, was so anxious because she would see movies about the rapture, and there was in her church, there was all this dialogue about it that she was so afraid she never read Revelation. And I think that's pretty prominent in most, churches. So it's been incredible, and I recently got to teach on it at our women's encounter.
Which is incredible, yes.
And so one of the biggest things that stuck out to me, because Jesus as King is like my most, I don't know if favorite's the right word, but it's like something that I connect with so quickly. Like when I think of Jesus, I think of him as king. And so I love any imagery. I think I just have that kind of warrior spirit in me. So any imagery of a warrior, king, victory, all that. So, of course, all through Revelation is talking about him coming back in his glory on the horse and everything. But particularly in Revelation 19, it's talking about the rider on the white horse and Jesus coming back, and he's got the sword coming out of his mouth, and he has an army behind him. And it's this big, battle scene. But what we think as Christians, I think most of us are thinking, maybe even subconsciously, but it's there, that there's going to be this epic battle, and there's Jesus and Satan, and they're equally yoked, like they're the same force, and we know that Jesus wins, but there's going to be this huge Armageddon, and it's going to be this battle royale. And when you read Revelation 19, that's the exact opposite of what happens. Jesus comes in riding victorious with his army, and it literally says he just speaks. It says the sword coming out of his mouth is the word of God. And just like God spoke the world into creation, he's also going to speak decreation. And he throws the false prophet and the beast, and then next down in Revelation 20 is Satan, and he throws them in the burning lake of fire. And that's it. And it's like Jesus doesn't even break a sweat.
Nope.
There is no epic battle of Jesus has to
He's just waiting for his moment.
So think about that, bring it down, because it's such a huge, obviously lofty theological concept, but bring it down to how comforting that is. So if Jesus can just speak and throw Satan into the lake of fire, don't you think that he could speak into your circumstance now and into your pain and suffering now? He doesn't even have to break a sweat.
Right. Incredible. I know. I feel like Revelation felt so untouchable and inaccessible. And then as I've studied it, which it really helps having a guide through it. I feel like it's like navigating the Amazon River. You probably shouldn't go by yourself, but with a trusted guide, you get to discover parts of creation you just never thought were there.
Yeah.
And so what was always daunting and felt scary and like, that kind of makes me feel weird about our faith because it's like a lot of weird stuff happening, actually has made me feel so secure in my faith.
Exactly.
Because so much of it is about the preservation of the saints. And
yes, that's what she talks about.
It's so cool that, I don't know, just the amount, it's like God, even though we see the world, we live in this crazy world right now. I mean, gosh, the election is coming. The world is in such turmoil. It's going to get even more tumultuous as the end times come. And instead of that feeling scary like it always has to me, I now just feel comforted but I'll be in the group that is not lost. And the tie between Revelation and John 10 with the shepherd not losing any of his sheep, and it literally says, and not one will be snatched from my hand. And that same language is used when John opens the seal and it says, not one name on the list will be snatched, like they will be preserved. That connection between what Jesus said and then what John sees in Revelation has been just so incredible. I was even discipling a girl recently and praying for her, and I used that, which you wouldn't have caught me anytime referring to Revelation as I'm trying to disciple and encourage someone,
just
because
on a normal
I
Tuesday.
just wasn't as confident in it.
Sure.
And and I got to tell her, like, she was just having some doubts and like some questions of faith. And I said, you just told me your story. I can see your point in your story where you surrendered. Yeah. And Revelation tells us you cannot be lost. So even though you have questions, even though you have doubts, even though you don't have it all figured out and the world feels tumultuous and scary, ultimately you will land on the right side at the end. And that is there's so much comfort in that.
Oh yeah. And it doesn't mean you're not going to have suffering. It actually is the opposite. And I know that it can be scary to people, and that's we could have a whole podcast on that. But what I also love is that Revelation, if you think of it, remember the Bible is one story. Sure. So at the end, just like think of a novel you're reading, all throughout the book, it's referring back to what has already happened. And when you get to the end, it's going to keep, it's going to keep looking back. And that's what Jen Wilkin calls it, is the look behind or look back. Yeah. And so when we're at Revelation, the last book, everything that it's saying is connected to what has already happened. Yeah. And so that's where you see there's tons of references to Exodus, right? There's tons to the New Testament of what Jesus is saying when he's here on earth the first time. Like, it's just so that's my favorite thing about the Bible.
And it is, I feel like, the number one book that reinforces that no word is wasted in the Bible, because every single word in Revelation means something. That's why it's taking me a lifetime to get through this study.
Yeah, and you're never gonna, at the end of it, you're not gonna fully understand.
It's wild. It's just like in this one paragraph, he said throne 7 times. 7 is the number of completion. Right. He is the perfect, whole, complete king on the throne. Right. And you're just like, there's one tiny paragraph in the entire book.
One word, one number. That's the thing. it's a book of symbolism. So every word, every number means something. And so, I mean, we ain't getting paid for this, but go get Jen Wilkins.
Jen.
Because because it not only is just the workbook, but it's videos of her teaching. I know,
which I haven't actually watched those.
And it blows my mind that you're, no, it blows my mind that you already are like so blown away. If you watch these videos, you might keel over.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to pass away. Here we go. All right, what's easy and what's hard right now? Listen, we're testing this out. This is like a segment. We might be, what's easy, what's hard?
What's hard right now is putting my children to bed. There's seasons.
Because you were in a good season of bedtime.
Yeah. And there's seasons. I mean, our kids are young. They're 8, 6, and 3. And the boy.
Who's hard? All of them?
Yeah, at this point, yeah. Yeah.
This point, at this point, Ron's hard to put to bed.
It's hard for me to put myself to bed. The boys share a room. And I mean, I think it's mostly, I mean, of course, it's hard to put most kids to bed, period. But it's mostly, I think, the season just of I'm going through is by that time of the day, I have nothing left. And I mean, ultimately, how we should live is depending on God every moment. And, it's just, in the past, there was some, bedtime was like, in a way, kind of traumatic. We had a season because the kids would get up all throughout the night, and I was sleep deprived and all that.
That's when your anger stuff.
And then
go
the
see
anger
episode. New Year's Same Anger. We talk about that.
Exactly, which God ultimately, it was a blessing because God exposed a lot of that. And so, but yeah, I would just say, kind of on a fleshly, level, is that it's not my favorite thing, and I want it. Bedtime, like I try, let's say I try to have Ron and I both, we have a routine. We want to carve out time because normally that's the time where the kids, like you can be one-on-one with them and they'll kind of talk to you about things that they wouldn't throughout the day. You can pray with them, stuff like that.
Their filters are gone too.
Their filters, right. And so some of the most sweetest moments are at that time, honestly, and some of the hardest.
For sure. I think for me, well, I would say bedtime. So I'm going to pick a new one because that is really hard for us right now. But, or not even bedtime, actually just through the night. But I would say like spending time with everybody that I want to spend time with. I never really, I mean, when you have kids, the landscape of your life just changes and your priorities change and all of that. But, there are a lot of people I love that I don't get to spend as much time with. And like I saw a friend in a coffee shop yesterday with her baby who I haven't even spent time with her and her baby. And I was just like, I wish I could spend more time with people that I love. But I'm just kind of in a season where you just kind of have to you have to pick and choose, what you do and what you don't do. And, but yeah, that's just something I feel like I'm like mourning maybe a little bit, or like for this, accepting that in this season, like I just can't do everything I want to do. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or see everybody I want to see.
Absolutely.
What's easy? Is anything easy right now?
I think it's hard. Which we
Putting
need.
This outfit together
I feel
was
like
easy
we
for
need
you.
to get to. We just need to talk anxiety. Can we put these two together?
Sure.
On the wheel, because I think a lot of my stuff.
Well,
like,
no, I'm not going to rewrite it, but
flows.
we can put it together.
Yeah, but I just mean, can we talk about anxiety right now?
Okay, well, I'm gonna spit it.
Okay, she's got to be
official.
official.
Look, they're both orange. So
she's got to be official orange.
All right, well, let me say what's easy, and then you can talk about anxiety.
Okay, perfect.
Well, and I have to think about what's easy. Okay. For the first time ever, Wes and I are going 2 weeks strong on going to the gym.
Yes.
Joined a new gym, and I wouldn't say it's like easy to go, but I'm just not someone who like loves working out. I think I love activity. I love being active. I love feeling in shape. I love being in shape, but I just don't love like going to the gym for the people who like, well, you're kind of like, I feel like when you're in your gym seasons, you love going to the gym. and it's just not me. But it's been easy in a way because Wes and I get to go together. We figured it out in a way in our schedule that works with our kids. We love the gym that we're going to. Like, it's actually been easy, which is so crazy, and I'm really enjoying it. And so we just keep saying, like, we're going to be in the best shape of our lives.
I love that.
So it's been fun.
Yes.
All right.
Well,
let's talk anxiety because that plays into
which it does because I want to preface what's easy, but it kind of goes along. So, what has it been? 3 weeks ago, I decided to start weaning off my anxiety meds, which I've been on for 2 years. So 2 years ago, I started having panic attacks.
Yes, so for people who were here in the last Wheel of Topics when we told Target horror stories.
Oh yes,
that's when it was moment that you had your first panic attack.
It wasn't the first, but it was like one of the
the worst ones.
The season
Yeah.
that was the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, it was kind of this long journey of God exposing anger, God healing me of anger, going back to counseling, starting running, like very, very pivotal time in my life as I look back. And kind of, I guess not out of the blue, but like my body started producing anxiety that would make my chest feel super tight. It felt like an elephant was sitting on it. I couldn't run. I couldn't really operate because I was on the ground, like barely breathing. The Go See Target story episode. So I got on this medicine, which I still believe it's God's grace that He gave me that to allow me to function, and it evened me out. Let's say. So the whole time I just kept asking God, let me know when I should get off of it because I don't want to be on it for a long, long period of time. And so by many different things happening recently, I have felt led to do that and do it in a healthy way. I go to my doctor, get a plan. I've been doing a whole line of, supplements and IVs and wellness and like really taking it serious because this isn't just like a willy-nilly thing. And so I've been weaning off of it, and it started off great. And it was the Lord's mercy that like we got to lead the women's encounter, and it felt great. And in my little pea brain, I'm thinking, this is going to be no problem. This is going to be so easy, right? And I come back from women's encounter, and then the next day we went on vacation, and we went to 30A in the Panhandle, which is beautiful. We'd never been there. We rented an Airbnb with the kids and Ron and I and the kids, and it started off great. And then you had said this, which I didn't think about. You're like, kind of jokingly, like, is this really the greatest time for you to start weaning off? Because you're planning an encounter. It's the most busiest season of ministry in a lot of ways. And I'm like, well, I didn't think about it. I didn't plan it. God told me. So here we are. So in the same vein as on vacation, the second day we're there, I cut my meds again to a lower dose, and it went bananas. Bananas. Okay. Gwen Stefani was singing
in your head. She was
bananas. And so I just feel led to speak very candidly about this because I think it will help other people who probably don't talk about this, or maybe they've gone through this, or maybe they're thinking about, getting off meds or not thinking, whatever. But I started having severe side effects from weaning off. So like uncontrollable crying.
Which is very unlike you. Like you don't cry a ton.
I don't cry a ton. And it's usually, it's like by myself and a significant thing has happened.
Like you couldn't stop crying.
No, like could not stop. Very uncontrollable. Knowing this is not me necessarily, but I know that there's some other things at play here. And then the most let's say, jolting thing, which, I was texting you the whole time so that you were praying, and you and two of our other friends who it was such, and is still such a gift from God to be able to turn to friends and say, I can't do this. Like, I need y'all to pray. I need you to hold my mat. And y'all did. And so I kept, it was the way I describe it is like if you're in your bathroom getting ready to go to work, and you're getting dressed and brush your teeth and all that, and there's just a demon sitting on the toilet or, up against the bathtub, legs crossed, and he's just berating you with lies. And it was as like a megaphone in my ear.
It's on repeat.
On repeat. And it wasn't a mirage of things or myriad of things. It was two things that I kept hearing. You're the ugliest person in the world, and you should kill yourself. And welcome
crazy.
to vacation.
30A, everybody.
Rosemary Beach, here I come. And I say that, and it's kind of the first time I said that. It's obviously a very serious thing. I'm not making light of that at all, but I'm saying it more and more because every time I say it out loud, it loses power. And I want other people to hear this, that I just was on the mountaintop. Yeah. I was teaching the word of God in my calling to 200 women, preaching on Revelation, seeing God move, like heal and break chains of forgiveness of 50 years and bringing sin into the light and like just crazy things that happen every year at the Women's Encounter. And then I go to the valley of hearing these voices. And so immediately, of course,
Wait, can I also say, I think it's really powerful for people to hear how you said you knew that you weren't actually suicidal.
Yes.
But you couldn't, it was so loud, like you couldn't turn this voice off.
Exactly.
Which I think that's really powerful because I think a lot of women have probably heard something like that. And they're like, wait, but I'm not, like, I don't actually think I'm going to do something.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. Because it didn't go past that. There was no other thought of doing anything or it was just like that was where it was. It was just like one of your kids screaming in your ear and you're gonna get frazzled, right? And so,
which I will also say, you never know where like prayer and the sovereignty of God intersect, but you did text us that you were like having those thoughts, and the three of us, I mean, I at least like got on my knees and I was like literally praying the sky down. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. So you also just wonder, could it have been more? Maybe.
Sure.
Like you have to have praying people in your life. Like you have to have people that you can say honest truth to that is so dark. Everybody has those dark thoughts in their souls. Maybe not that exact one, but something that you have to have at least one person that you can bring it into the light and they can pray on your behalf when you can't, because you have no idea in the heavenlies, in the spiritual forces that we can't see, how that plays out
that
and
intercession and that. Right. And that's like, we know that Jesus is sitting on the throne right now, interceding on our behalf. And the way that plays out sometimes is when I don't have the words to pray, the Bible tells us that the Holy Spirit is groaning on my behalf, right? Like he is interceding. And I have sisters and brothers who are picking up what we say at our church are our mat carriers, that the friends that took the paralyzed man to the roof and cut the hole in the roof and brought him down so he would be healed. If you don't have those, this was one of the most tangible times in my life that we were hundreds of miles apart and I had my mat carriers lifting me up. And of course I have my husband there, but there is something different in just a woman's world and emotion, a woman's world.
Is that a Madonna song? It's a woman's world.
Some Beyonce Madonna mashup or something. But in the mind and emotional state of a woman, it is sometimes harder, at least for me, to say certain things to Ron than it is to my girlfriends, who then I can say, and then they can, we can kind of hash it out because they can relate, and then I can go back to Ron and say, hey,
I would say both are important. Like they hold different weights and different values, and they're both important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think what you're saying about the suicidal thoughts, like I believe that everyone has had at least one moment where maybe they don't hear those words, but there's something in us that's like, this world really sucks sometimes. And like, maybe it'd be better if I wasn't here. And I think that that people don't talk about that. And it's different than maybe you have a mental illness and you've been down the road of this, or you've just had an intrusive thought that then you can have a safe place to say that to, and your Christian brothers and sisters can pray and break that chain. And then of course there's other things that need to happen if those thoughts continue on. But for me, this experience has been very eye-opening, because the past 2 years I've been so even killed, probably even to the point of sometimes I'm like, do I even have a heart? I'm not as emotional as maybe I would want to be. And now I'm still in the middle. So the encouraging part of I guess the real part of this is that I'm not on the other side of it. I'm still going through it. So like last night, I had a big moment of just, I have nothing left in the tank. My chronic pain is flaring up. I feel like
bedtime was hard.
Bedtime's hard. I feel so overwhelmed. I don't want to feel like this. I don't feel like myself, all of that. And so I'm in the middle of it. So it just, anyone who is going through it. So when it comes to going back to like the hard and easy, I thought about it 2 days ago. I was planning to teach a group of women. And the night before I hadn't had time to prep. I did not want to teach. To be honest, I was just having an honest conversation with God. And you're like, you know where I'm at. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm all the things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show up, and please tell me like right now what you want me to teach on. I'm in the shower as always. He speaks to me in the shower all the time. And he just says, my grace is sufficient for you. I said, got it. Check. Okay, go.
Because you knew you were going to speak on something with grace, right?
I knew I was going to speak something on grace. So I just didn't,
You should know where you were going to go with that.
Exactly. So he gave me the verse, got out of the shower, went and, got in the word and prepped. He had just kind of, this is what the most incredible thing when it comes to the word is, that it's alive and God is the one who illuminates it. So ask him. Like, all I did was just ask him, what do you want me to teach on? He told me the verse, which I had already memorized. So again, back to the verse was already in there. The Holy Spirit recalled the verse and said, this is what I want you to teach on. Then he starts illuminating the text. So I start seeing it. I'm exhausted. I probably prepped for 30 minutes. The next morning, I'm a little like, I really don't know what I'm going to say. Like,
you're going to ask a lot of questions.
I'm going to ask a lot. I'm just going to open it up. We're going to have a Q&A or something.
Q&A.
And I am telling you, the Lord just connected, because in my head, I'm all over the place right now. Right. He connected such clear words and communication that, you saw me right after. I was on cloud 9.
You're on cloud 9.
Because it was God.
Yeah.
It was the exact thing that I was teaching on, Paul's thorn in the side. God, take this away. And God says, his response, Jesus' response, is my grace is sufficient for you. My power will be made perfect in your weakness. And then after that, it says, Paul says, the power of Christ is going to rest on me. And I did a little word study, and that phrase involves two things: the power of the resurrection. So the same power that raised Christ from the dead is the same power we have in the Holy Spirit. And then in 1 Corinthians, it tells us the power of Christ is the wisdom of God. So when we look at those two things, resurrecting power and the wisdom, that's all in one phrase right there in 2 Corinthians. And so it was just like the very thing that I'm teaching on, that in my weakness, you are glorified, is he's doing it.
Right.
And I just am in awe of God and his faithfulness, that he keeps doing it. So whatever your calling is and wherever you're being obedient to God, his grace is sufficient in whatever season. And it's actually opposite of what the world's going to tell you. It's in your weakness. It's in the season of anxiety. It's in my chronic pain. It's in my inability to fill in the blank. I got tons of weaknesses. It's in those things that he's going to be glorified.
No doubt. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning. Like when we can get our eyes, I feel like part of the thing that was happening with you is like, it's so hard to get out of your own head. And when we can just put our eyes on the thing that matters most, like the power of the resurrection, or like me this morning with the list of these big God names, like creator of the universe. Like, what does that actually mean? It means there was no universe and then he created it. So why am I upset about this little thing, you know? And it just, when you can right size your perspective, it just changes everything. But it doesn't make, like you even said, like, it doesn't mean there isn't suffering. Like, it doesn't mean there aren't hard moments. And I don't want to like over Christianize it, because it can easily be that, like, my power is made perfect in weakness, you know?
Totally.
But what you're saying is like, no, like there's a demon on the bathroom counter spitting lies at me that feel like a megaphone on repeat that I can't pop the tape out of the tape recorder.
Right.
And yet God has something for me.
It's both. It's both because the Bible makes it so clear. If you want to grow in Christ, if you want to abide in Christ, you have to suffer, and you will suffer. Growth only comes through suffering. Just as a plant has to be pruned, there has to be cutting away. There has to be a seed that goes into the ground, dies, right, and then reproduces. Like, it's just the way it is. And so the more I'm not here to say there's not this, you know, martyr kind of syndrome of saying, oh, I'm just going to suffer every moment of my life and put Jesus' name on it. No, but there is a different perspective when we embrace that suffering is actually not a waste. Now, if you're being stupid and you're causing things in your life that are making you and your family suffer, right? If there's addiction, if there's infidelity, if there's all these things that are causing, like that's different.
Yes, that's different.
You're causing this suffering where it's coming from sin.
And if you're having a hard day, just put on a sequin skirt and top and be a disco ball.
Amen.
All right, what time is it?
What do we got?
Let me check. Hold on. All right, it is. Yeah. Okay, we gotta wrap this. We gotta wrap this.
One
sucker
more.
Up. Yeah, but it needs to be a funny one.
Yeah.
A funny and fast one. Oh, let's do
funny
the weird stuff in your bag, because that's what we skipped.
That's good. My bag's over there.
That is going to take a long time for you.
No, I have a few.
Where is it? I have to go to it. Okay. This came from you. You wanted to do this topic because I don't even really have a bag, let alone weird stuff in it. I actually have a picture you gave me in my bag.
What, the picture of us?
Yeah. I think there's other people in the photos.
What? Every time I do a nice thing and I print off a picture, you know, you don't really give me what I'm looking for. You're like, oh.
What am I supposed to do with it? Hang it up?
You're telling me that you don't want a picture of your friends in your house. I have pictures all over my house, and they bring such joy to my...
No.
Not solely of you, but yes, you are there, and it brings me such joy.
And Ron's probably like, why is Allie
okay, I don't have a portrait of you over our bed. Like,
oh my gosh, stop. Okay, tell us about your
in my
stuff.
bag. Well, currently, I have a black and white checkered
obviously
backpack, Vans mini backpack.
Mini, it's very mini.
And so I have very obscure things just because I'm a mom, and
the size of the state of Florida.
Hold on, I'll get to those. Those are the essentials. The obscure things are I have a tiny little Croc keychain from a Happy Meal that I just carry around because it brings me joy, and
you're a hoarder.
I have a Hot Wheels car that looks like a fish. I have
like why?
Because there are children that need an activity to do.
Just like in the world.
In the world. So, multiple times I've seen a mother struggling, and I said, here.
No.
Here.
No, you have not. You've given this Hot Wheels car to a mother
not
struggling.
Not just this Hot Wheels.
That you do not know.
Well, no, we might be at the park or something. The kids have it. I'm like, here's a little Play-Doh tin.
You're like the female St. Nicholas.
Yeah, I keep a little jar of Play-Doh.
You're out here. You got a naughty and nice list.
I have fruit snacks in there. You got multiple snacks.
You do always have snacks, which actually plays to my benefit.
Well, your daughter,
she always wants snacks.
I'm like, I gotta have a snack. I didn't have a snack.
Caitlin, I have another snack. I'm like, so you've eaten 11 snacks out of Caitlin's bag.
I have a bouncy ball. I have, just that stuff. But then my essentials, these are the...
Yeah, give us
These
the
are
essentials.
the essentials that really play into my obsessive compulsiveness and So I have a chapstick. I use one brand of chapstick. It's a cocoa butter.
You would think Caitlin has the biggest lips of in American history.
Multiple. I wish I had $1. How many times, every time that someone asked me if that was glue stick.
Glue stick. It looks exactly
Which would make me a psychopath. Like, you would need to lock me up if you saw me putting glue
on your lips.
On my lips multiple times a day.
That would be an addiction.
Thank you for asking me that. But
it's cocoa butter.
It's cocoa butter. Palmer's cocoa butter.
It's definitely meant for like women of color with big, amazing, juicy lips.
Yeah, but it's not
here,
just
it covers
for
half
everyone.
your face.
And I have them all around. So I'm going to list off. I have it in my bag. I have it on my bedside table. I have it in the van. I give it away as gifts. I give it away as gifts. I have it in the kitchen.
And you've made a lot of converts with it.
Right. So that's one essential. The other essential is tweezers. I like to have a pair of tweezers because
we need a mid-car.
A mid-car. The lighting in my minivan. So
you have no rogue hairs.
No rogue. You open up that little mirror and then you got the sun shining through, and then sometimes you're flabbergasted at how many eyebrow hairs you've missed.
You had your friends let you walk around in this world.
Insanity. So you pluck a few grays, you got the eyebrows.
Tweezers are always on your person.
Tweezers are in my van and in my bag. And then the third most important, well, I'd say just as important as the chapstick, is my nail clippers. So I loathe biting nails, and I get offended when someone asks me if I do that. You do that. Multiple friends of ours do that, and I'm always on them.
Sometimes.
I'm always on them, on their case. It's disgusting for multiple reasons. But my nails are
nubs. There's no whites, you guys. She clips her nails multiple times a day.
Well, I clip them every day.
They're the shortest nails I've ever seen in the history.
No, there's lots of men's nails that are shorter.
No, not possible. There's literally no whites.
But that is part of an OCD
all of a sudden
thing.
You're like, clip, and you just look over, you're like, we're like waiting for our table. Like, why are you clipping your nails?
I do not clip them in a restaurant. That is so wrong.
That's where we draw the line. You have standards.
Have so many standards, and that's really offensive that you would even think that I would do that, okay? But I am owning my stuff, and I'm airing all of my grievances about myself.
You are airing all your dirty laundry today.
But you know what? If that's my thing, I'd rather have that.
Things. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
you could say that about like so many things. Like, I'm not even gonna get into how many things you could say that about.
I'm just letting you know. Please don't ask me if I chew or bite my nails. The answer is no. Please don't say just anything about my nails because I'm not self-conscious. I just like them the way that I like them, and so one of my fears is like being trapped on a desert island without nail clippers.
I cannot. That is like, most of us fear being stranded on an island with like no water, like no human contact.
Okay.
Yours is no. What will I do? My nails are so long. I have no food, but I have long nails.
Literally. And I don't need anyone up in the comments telling me that I need to go to therapy. I've been in therapy. This is not an issue. This is just
like we're like so well known that we're gonna get.
I don't need any help in this area. All I'm doing is I'm letting you know, please don't take away my nail clippers and please don't ask if I bite my nails. That's it.
This has been a great show. Thank you for joining, neighbors. We hope that you give us a 5-star review and show up in our comments, but with praise and
no trolls.
Love. No trolls. All right, love y'all.
Bye.
Neighbors is produced by Logger Creative and Taylor Minning. Music by Austin and Lindsay Adamak. Artwork by Wesley Parsons. And motion graphics by Robbie Burns.